Hi there and welcome to Atoll TV's ISO 9001 playlist. I'm going to review the requirements of Clause 4.1, Understanding the Organisation and its Context. I'm going to break it down and turn it into something we can all understand. You'll then be able to apply this to your own organisation system and understand what the requirements will look like for you. No more confusion or guessing. Hi, I'm Jackie Stapleton and you're watching Atoll TV, the place to expand your career and learn from experts. I'm the Director of Auditor Training Online and I'm here to help you on your way to implementing or auditing against ISO 9001, the 2015 revision. While you're here, I'd love you to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on anything exciting in the future. Now, to start off with, I'm going to ask you a question. What clause in ISO 9001 do you need support in unpacking and determining what it might look like applied to your own organisation? Or, if you're an auditor, which clause causes you the most uncertainty? Comment below as I'd love to help you out. Now, I do need you to stick around until the end so I can share with you what to refer to in the standard to help you out even more with this clause. So this will get you thinking, ready to implement the requirements for your own business. Right, let's get started. Clause 4.1, Understanding the Organisation and its Context, states that the organisation shall determine external and internal issues that are relevant to its purpose and its strategic direction and that affect its ability to achieve the intended results of its quality management system. I always say with this clause that it's about having a long, hard look at yourself. The requirements of this clause are about the organisation identifying internal and external factors that influence their product or the delivery of their product or service to its customer. You could say that this is standard business planning and management, of course. So, the question for us is, what does this look like in a business? A tool or tools that I normally see being used to address this clause requirement are the pest analysis, along with, or even just standalone, a SWOT analysis. The pest analysis, sometimes referred to as PESTEL or PESTLE, is a great tool to identify external issues, and it works well then combined with a SWOT analysis. PESTEL stands for political, economic, social, technological, environment, and legal. You can see by using these words as a prompt, it forces a business to look at what influences these categories bring to their own business. I've only seen these used in conjunction with a SWOT analysis, and overall the SWOT seems to be the most used tool in businesses that I audit. I'll explain and demonstrate how a SWOT analysis will work and align with the requirements of this clause shortly. Before I continue though, I really need to ensure that it's clear that nowhere in clause 4.1 does it say you shall conduct a SWOT analysis. In fact, the clause doesn't even have a requirement for documented information to be maintained or retained, which can be a bit tricky for us as auditors. I want you to be really careful if you are an auditor, as there is no way that we can raise a non-conformance by saying that there was no documented evidence of the external and internal issues determined. So how we obtain the evidence would then be by interview to see whether the organisation has in fact determined these internal and external issues and can demonstrate that they know what they are. Now, in saying this, it is very common that you will see something documented, whether they do conduct a SWOT analysis, of which you will see the completed output for, or they have a brainstorm at their management review meeting and it's documented in the minutes. Normally, you will see a trace of it somewhere in the system. Okay, so on to this SWOT analysis then. So SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. A SWOT is normally drawn up into 4 quadrants, with each quadrant named one of the options of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is a fantastic tool to use as it aligns really well with the internal and external requirements of clause 4.1. So now you can add to the rows the heading of internal for strengths and weaknesses and external for opportunities and threats. I always say that strengths and weaknesses are internal and what is actually happening now. And then opportunities and threats come from external influences and are what has the potential to occur. Now that we have the final template ready to go, we can use it to help us fill in each of these quadrants. It would be beneficial to involve staff members or team representatives in this process so that a broad scope can be identified across the business. So let's get started with strengths. Remembering that these are internal strengths of our business that are actually occurring right now. Ask yourself the question, what does your business do well? To help you, I'll prompt you with some more questions on this. Do you lead the way in technology or innovation? Do you bring a lot of experience to the business or industry? Do you have a high customer satisfaction rating? Are you a leader in your product, service, or industry? Do you have a high level of customer service training? Now you can move on to weaknesses. Again, remembering that these are internal weaknesses that are actually occurring right now. Ask yourself the question, what does your business not do well? So be honest. To help out again, I can prompt you with some other questions. Do you tend to follow others in the industry rather than lead? Does your business lack product or service knowledge and experience? Are there a high level of customer complaints or orders that are not received on time or as ordered? Is quality leadership lacking? Does the business ignore customer feedback? Does the business lack a customer service training program? Fantastic. Now, that started giving you a list for the internal and actual factors for strengths and weaknesses. Keep working on these as you'll find that over time, you'll pick up and recognize other areas to add. Something really important to note here is that you do not complete a SWOT analysis just once. It's an ongoing and regular process. It's your business's way of staying on top of any new threats to the business and identify opportunities for the business as well. Right, let's look at opportunities next then. Opportunities are external factors that a business can leverage to achieve an objective, goal, or target and simply just to improve. Ask yourself this question. What opportunities are there that we can take action on to improve? Hot tip here, why don't you look at your list of weaknesses for an idea on where some opportunities might be? So on top of that, some questions to prompt you here might be, could you improve product or service knowledge within the business? And how? How could you reduce the number of customer complaints? How could you initiate proactive improvement opportunities? Is there an opportunity to provide product or service training on a regular basis? Is there an opportunity to communicate customer, product and service requirements more effectively to all of your workers? Could you involve your workers in the quality system and processes more? Now, the final quadrant for threats. Threats are external factors that could potentially cause difficulties for the company. Some examples for this might be changes or updates in product or customer requirements that are not identified by the business. A new competitor is introduced in the market. A new product or service is introduced into the market that threatens your own existing product. A significant customer complaint is received from a major client. Transfer of product knowledge could be compromised if a key staff member leaves. Look at that, you've completed your SWOT analysis. Now, if you review your SWOT, let's see if the output from each quadrant meets the requirements of clause 4.1. Let me repeat what this clause states. The organisation shall determine external and internal issues that are relevant to its purpose and its strategic direction and that affect its ability to achieve the intended results of its quality management system. Wow, light bulb moment right there. Doesn't that requirement make so much more sense now? And do you know why? Because we've made sense of it and we've broken it down and produced the output to meet those requirements. When you see it in your own context, everything makes sense. I love it when this happens. So thanks for sticking around till the end so I can share with you what to look for in the standard and in particular this clause. Don't forget to read any notes that are included in some clauses. So clause 4.1 has 3 of them and they are all really helpful to support you to understand the requirements and identify the requirements. So for example, note 1 states that issues can include positive and negative factors for consideration. Well, that's great because we used a SWOT analysis that helps us to identify both positive and negative factors. Note 2 gives us some hints on what we can consider when identifying the external context. So they've suggested looking at legal, technological, competitive, market, cultural, social and economic environments, whether international, national, regional or local. What a great prompt to use when completing your SWOT analysis. And finally, note 3 provides us with hints on what we can consider when identifying the internal context. These are issues related to values, culture, knowledge and performance of the organisation. All of these aligning with the questions we just went through when completing our SWOT analysis. I find all too often that these notes are skimmed over as not important, so please be sure to always take them on board as they are so helpful. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Atoll TV and leave a comment or question, as I truly do want to help you to join the best career out there with me. Auditor Training Online is a recognised training provider and we know how it works in the real world. So we're confident that we can help you to make a change in your life and join the most sought after profession out there. Go to our website and enrol in training or register for any of our programs to transform your work and industry experience into a recognised qualification.